Laura Ingraham joins us once a week, and she joins us right now live from Washington, D.C. Good morning to you,
Hey, Laura.
Hey, guys. Good to see you.
So what did you think of the Trump plan yesterday?
The thing about this is that the media and all these, Republican Trump critics have been saying for, months, you got to take this substantive, talk about the economy. Jobs in the economy remain the #1 issue for the American people. So he goes to Detroit, a place that has just been hammered by terrible management, mostly under Democrat control, and he makes a compelling case for a pro-growth agenda that certainly most conservatives I know thought the substance of which was phenomenal. You could talk about whether he reads the teleprompter, and none of that matters. But the substance of what he said, especially on the corporate tax reform basis, where you bring down the corporate tax rate to 15%. So many yesterday I was getting tweets and texts from folks who, some of them not fans of Trump, say that alone would create the beginning of an economic renaissance in American business. We need those types of measures in place. I think that's exactly what the Trump campaign has to be focusing on. The economy, the economy, the economy. That means you're going to have more money in your pocket if Trump gets elected. You want a job, then you're going to have a chance to get a better job if he's elected. If Hillary's elected, we know these policies don't work, but they do put us further and further in debt. So I think that's the pitch he has to make. Whether the media is going to allow him to make that or just belittle him at every turn, I can't say that. But I think that was a good step in the right and substantive direction yesterday.
Yeah, well, Hillary was in Florida, and she spoke out right after he came out with his plan. We're going to listen to what she said, and then Donald Trump responding, because she's not in favor of his plan, of course. Take a listen.
He's got 3 Wall Street money managers, an oil baron, a former chief economist at one of the big banks at the heart of the financial crisis. He's got 6 men named Steve. And that they all care about the same things he does, about, how to avoid paying their fair share.
If you look at Hillary Clinton, when she was a senator, she was going to rebuild New York, okay? And it was a big thing, and it was big ceremonial. Never happened. Upstate New York is a total disaster. Jobs have left. We lost 47% of our manufacturing jobs under her when she was a senator. But she was going to rebuild it, and she came up with a plan, and everybody talked about the plan, and it was a total disaster. So that's basically what we're going to have here, too, with the country.
Laura, that was Donald Trump responding just a few minutes ago on our show.
Now, think about Hillary's response to Trump's substantive plan laid out yesterday. Her response was, well, he has a bunch of people who used to work for Wall Street, and a bunch of them are named Steve. Now, this is a woman who is described by Barack Obama as the most qualified person in recent memory to run for the presidency. If she's the most qualified person to run for the presidency, where are her ideas that are different in any real respect from what Barack Obama tried and didn't work? So she can have her one-off comments about Wall Street, but this is in the wake of the billionaires lining up for her over the last 2 weeks. Those same billionaires who will set to profit enormously from things like the Trans-Pacific Partnership and all of these other measures that are simply going to double and triple down on trade deficits and other economic misery for the Rust Belt of the country. So it's clear from what's going on is they don't want a serious debate. All they want to say is, Trump's this, Trump's that, he's mean. That's all they're going to have. But for regular people watching this show today, this isn't working. What we're doing isn't working. And the temperament of Hillary Clinton yesterday in response indicates that she doesn't have either the ideas or the temperament or the approach that is really going to get this economy kick-started into high gear. So the substance yesterday was on Trump's side. The rhetoric was on Hillary's side, and very rich coming from someone who made a couple $100,000 every time she opened her mouth at Goldman Sachs.
Well, exactly right. Oh, the irony of her panning Trump for Wall Street connections.
Yeah, I mean, that's just, laughable. I mean, that's just a knee slapper.
Indeed. Well, another topic that came up yesterday is 2 parents of 2 of the Americans killed in Benghazi are now suing Hillary Clinton for wrongful death and blaming the careless treatment blaming it in part on the careless treatment of sensitive information. It's the parents of Sean Smith and Tyrone Woods. Obviously, the server that was unsecured. We even hear that there was information on that server about the itinerary of the ambassador. What do you make of this lawsuit and keeping this in the news?
Well, again, when we perhaps learn more about the emails that were, quote, deleted or still missing from Hillary's server, we are going to know a lot more about what was there, whether there was any relation to the Clinton Global Initiative, lobbying or influence peddling there when Hillary was about to take over as Secretary of State or had taken over as Secretary of State. And we perhaps will learn more about what happened the night of Benghazi. You know, I was thinking about this. Remember the commercial that was such a powerful commercial in 2008? You know, when the phone rings at 3 o'clock in the morning, who's going to answer it? Well, think about it. Hillary was actually right about Obama back then. He's not taking it seriously either, but she was wrong about herself. On that night of Benghazi, when they needed her, where was she? They hadn't convened the counterterrorism task force. She wasn't in the Situation Room, and those men died that night. So for all of the comments about Trump's temperament and Trump's this, Trump's that, the bottom line is when we needed her, where was she? And I think that this lawsuit, whether the cause of action is going to stand or not, I have to look more into that. I think that might be a little tough to play. But the question is, when the men needed her on the ground, where was she? And I think that's the stuff that the Trump campaign has to talk about. Don't get, caught on any of these side questions. The question of temperament, the question of judgment and experience. I'd turn that right around on supposedly the most qualified person to ever run for the presidency the night of Benghazi when those Americans desperately needed help. She wasn't there to give the right orders. She wasn't there to take that national security threat seriously in Benghazi. The day that ambassador traveled there, he obviously should never have been there. Where was the Clinton team? Yeah. Where was it?
Great questions. They're also apparently suing for defamation of character because she essentially called them liars, the survivors' families, on the Chris Wallace program. All right, Laura, thank you very much for joining us live. She's going to go do her radio show in about 45 minutes on radio stations all across the country, and she's the editor-in-chief of LifeSet.